Welcome back to another Colorful Keto with Tori. Yeah, we're listening to the songified cat lady song. We're getting together with traveling Keto Cat, and we're going to talk about keto and cats and coffee and whatever else comes up. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. We started a conversation at KetoCon and we never got to finish it. So we're going to do that tonight. Because that's what happens. We start a conversation and there's like 800 people around and things get busy and you just wander away and you're like, oh, totally never finished that conversation. So she should be here any moment and we're going to get started. If you guys have never seen this video, I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because you can't hug every cat. You really just can't, actually. Okay, so I don't see her in here just yet. So I'm going to send her a quick message and let her know that we are live and we are just waiting for her because we were just chit-chatting. I'm going to let her know that we're here and we are waiting. Let me just turn my other phone so that I can let her know. I'm smooth like that too. And if you're not following somebody, if you don't turn on your post notifications, it does not let you know that they're live. There she is. Yay! I'm so excited. Sassy lady. I'm definitely going to have to turn that song back on because, like, hello, you can't hug every cat. We can hug this cat, though. Virtual hugs. Hello! Do we yay, we've even got sound. Oh my goodness. It's meant to be.
Oh man. I love the disco ball.
Don't you love it? It's my thing. And you know what? It kind of happened by accident. One day I decided I was going to do a Thursday night karaoke video recipe. And everybody was like, it has to be every day, Dory. It has to be every day. No. And then I only did it for cooking. And then somebody requested it for Q&A, and even Dr. Ken Berry, he's like, where's my light story? And I said, but Dr. Ken, you're a doctor. That's not very professional. Right. And he's like, no, that's not fair. Everybody else gets to have lights. I want me some lights too. So now,
that's awesome. You set the bar.
Right? Now you know you're on my channel. When you turn it on and you see the lights, you're like, oh, Dory's here.
Right. That's like fun indicator.
Right? Your fun light is on full force when that comes on. So why don't you tell us first who you are? Because I don't know how it's possible, but some of my people don't know who you are. And we only met at KetoCon, so I can't blame them.
I know. Dude, KetoCon, when we met, was like super crazy. So it was all very much a blur. I'm wondering if this is going to work. So I am traveling Keto Cat. I have been on keto or doing keto, living keto lifestyle for almost, a year.
We're the 1 year club together.
1 year.
1 year.
What?
What? You know it.
So, that's who I am.
Yay.
That's more straightforward. You were like still trying to drink and you're like, shit.
I was like, well, see, I'm not going to lie. When people are like, how come you drink so much, Dory? It's because I have a shut up problem. Like, people start talking and I want to say something. So I'm like, I'll just have a little sip. Yeah. Then I don't cut people off.
I can see that. Like I mentor some game development girls, and one of the tips that I give them for interviews is, you know how like if you go to an interview and they're like, can I get you something to drink? Can I get you a glass of water, a cup of coffee? Yes, the answer is always yes, because one, it buys you time, hopefully not around that person, just as you're like meeting them, and then two, it gives you time to like think of an answer when they're grilling you with questions, right? Like if they're like, so what would you say your biggest accomplishment is? You could be like,
Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I love it.
Smart. It's strategery.
Right, and also I originally was drinking on my to-go cup, which now I pour into the pretty cup because I realized when I sip out of this cup, I look like this. Yeah. Instead of like
more civilized,
right? It's so civilized, but I'm like, oh, and everybody's like, I love the teacup. It's coffee, because I'm obsessed with coffee. I think we shared that obsession as well.
We do.
Right? Hashtag coffee is life.
Yes.
So let's start there, because I promised coffee and cat chat, and I see we get to meet your cat, and so we want to know what's your favorite coffee. I know.
Well, so it's twofold, right? Like the first is what's my favorite like roast and like flavor of coffee, and then or style, and then the second part is like how do I normally drink my coffee? At least that's how I kind of like interpret that question, and the question that I usually judge people by.
Okay, okay, you're gonna judge me hard, but you go first.
Mr. Buttons, don't mind me.
Don't mind me. I just put your butt right in my face. That's cat rule number 1.
Seriously. He's like, oh, you're sitting. If it fits, I sit.
Right? I fits.
So, yeah, dude, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, we did talk about, I think, the number of cats, potentially.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get there. Okay,
we'll get there.
Coffee. Like, that's like an important thing, Not only does it allow me to function better in the day, but I feel like I can have this, like, collection. And so right now my favorite flavor or roast of coffee is actually from a company called New England Coffee. And what are you doing, kid? They make flavored coffees. If you're a coffee purist, you're probably going to be like, I don't know about that. But the roasts are really smooth. And they have this one that is called, it's blueberry crumble coffee.
Oh.
And yeah, it's like, initially when I heard about the notion of like blueberry coffee, right? I was like, hell nah. I don't need a berry up in my coffee. And then I tried it. And I was like,
maybe
oh shit, this is a game changer. Have you tried it before?
No, I haven't, but I put all kinds of flavors in my coffee. I live for it.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of, coffee experimentation, I would highly recommend trying blueberry coffee.
I love it. Okay, so then part 2, what do you put in your coffee? Part 2.
So I like this coconut milk that I get on Amazon. It's like straight up coconut milk, not a lot of weird stuff in it.
Okay.
And as of late, my go-to is just like a cold brew that I'll usually make the night before with my aforementioned coffee. Yes, like you do. And if I'm feeling super bougie, then I will make my own almond milk. I just made some more. I think I posted it about it, but that's like a little time consuming. It's not as time consuming as one would think, but it is slightly time consuming to milk the nuts. And I just do cold brew, almond milk or coconut milk.
Yes.
Collagen. I personally do the exogenous ketones, maybe like 1 or 2 times a week. So I'll just do like a half scoop of like a vanilla or a caramel flavored exogenous ketones, and then a little bit of MCT oil. The kicker is you really have to find that mix of like collagen peptides and almond milk to coffee where it still tastes like, in my opinion, it still needs to taste like coffee, but also mix well. Have you had some of those like collagens and stuff like that where you're like all excited about it and then you mix it with like a cold coffee and it's like womp womp?
So here's how much I know about collagen. I went to the health food store and I was looking for gelatin. And I was looking for beef-fed gelatin. And I said to the lady at the health store, I need gelatin because I want to make gummy bear snacks. And she said, get this. This is really awesome. And it only cost me $39 plus tax. And I brought it home thinking, oh, look, it has extra collagen in my gelatin, which couldn't hurt me, right? Like gelatin, collagen. Awesome.
Yeah.
I brought this home and I tried to make gummy bears with it. And I was like, dude, why will my bears not get solid? Why are they not solid? And then I really looked at it and see how it's got the cow on it. Because that to Tori says beef. And I told her I wanted gelatin. So she sold me a bag of collagen that has no gelatin in it. And I didn't even know better. And
we've all made like those types of mistakes when we're like thinking that we need one thing and then we get
yes. And I was like, wow, that was a really expensive mistake. Maybe I should use that for something. Maybe I should, learn how to use collagen. So I think you and I need to chat about places where I can use collagen. And if this one ends up being wah wah, I do have a couple samples that I was able to bring home from KetoCon, like limited. I got like one of the Further Foods and like one each of the Primal Kitchens. So I'm going to experiment a little, but I'm going to say I don't even know enough about collagen to know that it's not gelatin.
Got it.
Smooth like Tori.
I learned that stuff the hard way too. So you're with your people.
Right.
So collagen peptides. Peptide. At first I was like, what? What's the difference, between like peptides and blah, 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 or just regular collagen?
Yes.
Collagen peptides are actually blendable and dissolvable into a cold substance.
Okay.
And collagen, just straight up collagen, is because it's broken down not as far. It's dude, that's really distracting. You need to use it with hot drinks, but it's not gonna. Yeah. So you know the two that you just talked about.
Yes.
KetoCon?
I'll show them both because these ones were really good. Like I tried these ones at KetoCon. This one I've only added it to gummy bears because again I didn't know any better. But these ones I tried at KetoCon. So the one from Further Food, and they're amazing. They did a wicked giveaway of these for me last week. And then the Primal Kitchen ones, and I've got one chocolate coconut and one coconut vanilla.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make something with them. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah, I went like super boring, and I just like dumped them into my coffee.
Okay.
The collagen peptides one, the first one.
Yep.
I think I did that in my iced coffee, blended just fine.
Okay.
I did try. Do you remember the ancient protein?
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes.
It was a hard fail yesterday, both unfortunately in flavor and in texture. I got the vanilla collagen or something like that. It didn't blend, so it would have probably blended if it was in a hot drink, but I added it to my cold brew.
Okay.
And I forgot that it was vanilla flavored. I tasted it, and I thought it was peanut butter. And so
okay.
I was like, So when you try yours, I'll be curious to know. Maybe it was just my taste buds. Maybe it's the humidity. I don't know.
Well, and I think because I'm so limited in what little samples I was able to bring home, I'm like, I have to make fancy recipes with those. Like, I got one keto chow salted caramel, and I'm thinking, I gotta make me ice cream with that. Like, I gotta make instant keto ice cream. Because I make my own homemade ice cream that you freeze for 2 hours, but I want to do an instant version. So when you want keto ice cream, but you don't want to pre-make it, you don't want to wait 2 hours, and I only got one packet. So I'm like, okay, my brain is spinning with all the things I want to do, because I only got one or two of something, because I wasn't able to bring a whole bunch home to Canada. I snuck away with what I got. I was like, oh, I have cheese chips and cheese chips. Yes. And that, but I really didn't I literally brought home this. I brought home a couple of Ultima packs and this. That was it. That was, So I'm making recipes with everything I've got. There's no way I'm just putting it in a water and drinking it.
Yeah, you're not taking the easy route out. You're going to do those things, Justin.
Well, only because I'm like, I never get them. And I'm going to tell you a secret, because before KetoCon, I never even thought there were good products out there. Everything that's available to me, I live in Canada, I live in a small town, it's not there, it's not available, I don't have access to it. Amazon is famous for its Canadian rapery. I'm just going to say it out loud. If an item costs $14, it costs you $11 to ship it. So I never even knew that these products were out there or available. So when I got to KetoCon, I was like, what? And I'm looking at ingredients, I'm like, I love that, I love that, oh my God, love it all. I love it all. And I was like dancing around everywhere. Like, I'm trying to try everything. I couldn't even taste everything in 3 days. I ate what I could. Like,
yeah, it's overwhelming. It's a good overwhelming, right? Because you have so many vendors in one spot, and they're all just like bam, 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 bam. And last year when I went, I actually almost got. The only way that I could like describe it is almost like a keto coma, because. There's like, you know, if you think about it, there's like what, let's say 6 different shakes that were there. 4 or 5 different bars, right? And I'm just like, hama. I was like out of my, like I had a headache, everything.
We ate mostly carnivore when we were there, because really the only vegetable I found was the Outer Isle Gourmet had their slices of their little pizza and their bread. Yeah. And I did stop by and have like one teeny little slice of those each day. That was my allotment of vegetables. By day 2, I was an unhappy lady. There were many live discussions about the inability to poop. I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm going to say on my channel, on Nancy's channel, there was a lot of like unhappy talk. We went back to the hotel that night. I sliced up 3 Brussels sprouts with a tablespoon of avocado oil, and guess who was a happy lady? I cannot carnivore. Some people did. Wendy, oh my goodness, she flourished. She's started carnivore since she came home. But it was too much convenience food, too much of what I don't normally eat. I was like, okay, what do I normally eat that I didn't? I didn't eat any nuts other than the samples of, you know, the Stoka bar that I had. And no vegetables, and it ruined me. Like I was miserable.
Yeah, there's like this recovery phase. I just remember drinking a lot of water. Plus, you're like talking so much and all of that. I mean, it was magical moment, you know. And like you said, it like being able to like be exposed to like all these different vendors and companies in one spot is like that in itself is like it at least saves any of us time from like browsing online and blah blah blah, right?
Well, and you know what? I'm going to say this. When I decided I was going to go to KetoCon, which was only like 6 weeks before it happened, I heard about it and I was like, oh, I have to go. I put it out there in my group on my feed, and I asked my people, what do you want to know? Like, this is the list of speakers. What do you want to know? Who do you want to hear from? What knowledge do you want me to bring back? And you know what my people said? Dory, we need food. We need products. We need good, clean, convenience food. And I was like, but I am recipe. I am make. No, but they're like, I love, Dory, that you make everything yourself, but I don't have time for that. Do you know what? I can't make at home. I don't have time. I need the convenience. And you know what? I don't have access to it. So can you please go and can you spend the time looking at these things? And I did. I think I planned 10 speakers to see, and I saw 3 because I was so overwhelmed by what was available there that I had to dedicate that time. Because for me, I don't buy those convenience things because I don't work outside of home. I can just go to my counter and I can make what I want when I want it. But overwhelmingly, my people say, I don't, Dory. If somebody could make for me, if I could buy, if I could get, I would do. But I don't have time to. And I'm like, but it's fast. Like, look, I did a video this afternoon about how to make walnut flour, and it takes 3 seconds. And they're like, oh, that's good, Dory, but I don't have 3 seconds. So, you know, could you please tell me where I could buy walnut flour? And I'm like, well, but you can't buy walnut flour and make it because they don't sell it. It's just Dory awesomeness. And they're like, oh, but I can't make that. Please tell me where to buy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get it.
It's a different market, right? And I think that that's like one of my, that's one of my concerns, like for anyone that's like just kind of getting into keto, that does go to like one of those conventions. Like I'm going to Low Carb USA in like 2 weeks, and whoop, whoop.
That sounds so fun.
But you don't need those products, you know. I use them. I use several of them just because I'm always on the go, right? But
yep.
Like you said, it's more about like just eating that whole food and not being a jerk about it.
Yeah. Well, and it depends what you have time for. Like, for example,
yes.
I absolutely fell in love with the F-bomb. The pre-packets of the nut butter, if you're on the go, you've got it. It's quick and on the go. I don't have access to stuff like that, so I make mine. And today I made maple bacon walnut butter. And when I was at the amusement park on the weekend, I brought a little container of this and some pork rinds, and that's what I had. But if you can't make it at home, then it's good to know that there is something available that you can go out and you can pick up on the go. Because for me, if I'm at the grocery store, there's no selection. Like, there's nuts that have chemicals I can't have, chocolate that's not sugar-free, and in the grocery store, all that stares at me in the face is the junk I don't want to eat. And not everyone can make up their own packs of nuts and carry them in their purse.
Yeah, true story. That's super true. For sure. The cat can't either. It's
right,
you know.
Right. And truth time, I'll tell you a secret. I usually carry like mixed nuts and stuff like that in my purse in a little bag. And I left them in my purse too long, and then they taste like perfume because they're not properly sealed and packaged in a baggie. What?
Yeah.
What baggie doesn't protect me from like perfume smell of my purse? What?
I did the same thing. I learned the hard way that if you just like leave nuts too long, just like in general,
they don't taste nice.
The oils, right? And so like now, like I think a whole shelf in my freezer is nuts. And every single time I go in, I'm like, I can make room, and this can be ice cream that's in here instead. And I'm like, no, because then my nuts are, all these different nuts are going to be all like oily, and you know, I buy them when they're in bulk, and that's and it depends
on your rotation, because I actually keep all of my nut products on the counter. You can't really see. I should maybe point you down a little so you can see. But what I decided to do when I came through my storage ideas is I researched, because I don't have the fridge and or freezer space. And what I came up with all of my research was, if they're in glass containers, if they're not in the direct sunlight, and if you rotate your stock every 3 to 6 months at the most, then you can store them safely on the counter. But they have to be in glass jars, and they have to not be in the direct sunlight. So other than me shining my disco lights on them, they don't get any natural light on them. So what I do is I store them this way. So originally when I bring them home out of the big bag, they go into the big tall container. So the tall container, then I will spread them out. I've got my small ones on the counter that everybody snacks from, and I make my convenience foods out of. And then I'll split them into mixed nut batches that have flavorings that are on the counter that are accessible. And then I make them into nut meals or flours, and then into the walnut. But it all just comes from an $18 bag of nuts that lasts me 3 months. So I'll buy one bag of nuts, and I'll use them whole. I'll make the flour, I'll make the butter, and one bag lasts me 3 months. I use it all up. Next bag.
Right. Onward and upward.
Right?
Nice.
Yes. But if you don't use them a lot like I do, then you can't do this. Only if you use them a lot and you rotate them frequently, because I don't know, I think I'm indigenously a prairie land girl. So nuts, seeds, berries, for me, that's the food of my people. Right. You know, we would have eaten a lot of meat, but mostly nuts and seeds and berries from where I'm from. So for me, I think I eat more nuts than most people do, and the extra carbs doesn't bother my system at all.
Wow. Okay, what's your favorite nut to snack on?
The pecan, to be honest with you, is my favorite. I do like almonds, but they're 10 grams of carbs per serving.
They're a bit high.
Pecans and walnuts.
They taste so good.
Oh, they do. But pecans and walnuts are 4 and 5 grams of carbs per serving instead. So half of. So when I make a recipe, even a fathead dough, I don't use almond flour. I use walnut flour. So I'm literally cutting the carbs in the recipe in less than half. So if your regular serving is, 5 grams of carbs, the one I make is 2 grams of carbs per serving, because I use a lower carb nut in them. And I swap out a lot for seed flours instead. So if you're nut allergies as well, I make pumpkin seed flour, I make sunflower seed flour, you can make sesame seed flour, you can make your own ground flax. All of those things you can have if you can't have nuts, and they're lower in carbs, a lot lower in carbs.
Smart move. I, kind of, you were talking about like making the rookie moves. I think one of my first rookie keto moves was I tried baking, I think potentially my first batch of keto cinnamon, of fathead cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
Amazing. I had one tonight for dinner because I'm an adult. And
I could do that. You don't know me.
You could do. Huh?
You don't know me. I could do that.
Yeah, it's a thing. So, anyway, I thought I was being like super smart, and it said 2 cups of almond flour, and I swapped all the almond flour out for coconut flour.
Oh.
I never worked with coconut flour.
Oh.
And I got all the way through baking everything and adding all the ingredients, and then it was like.
Okay.
It was.
So let's go there for a second, because people ask me this all the time. How do you swap your flours for flours? So if you're swapping almond flour for any other nut flour, it's 1 for 1. So if it calls for a cup of almond, it's a cup of walnut, it's a cup of pecan, it's a cup of pumpkin seed flour. The only difference is if you're using coconut flour, and that's 1 to 3. So if it's 1 cup of nut flour, it's 1/3 of a cup of coconut flour. Add extra liquid. So you're going to add an egg, add extra water, and you're going to cut it down to 1/3 because it absorbs so much liquid. The first time I did that, it was ridiculous. I can't even remember what I was trying to make, like biscuits or something like that. And I ended up with I don't even know. I think it was the only thing I ever threw out, because it kept expanding, and I kept adding more water, and it kept just getting bigger and more. And when I tasted it, it wasn't good. And I was like, oh, what did I make? Not yummy. Okay, note to self.
No. And then, once you do that, right, then you learn, and then you Google it, at least I did. I Googled it after, and I was like, man, this is why I'm not a baker, I'm a cook, but keto, I've gotten better.
So that was me. I will say my whole life, I could cook anything, but I could not bake to save my life. I have ruined a box cake, by either over or under mixing it, burning it, not cooking it enough. It's, I kept opening the oven to peek at it 50 times, even though it says don't peek at it. And that last time you're good and the door slams and you're like, and it falls down in the middle. Everything I ever baked, I ruined. Everything my whole life. So when I started keto and I found it totally by accident, nobody helped me, nobody gave me any information. I was so nervous to keto bake. I didn't even want to try it because I knew that I was not a baker. So what I did was every recipe I tried, I cut it in half. And I only tried a half of a recipe in case it didn't work.
Right? You're damage control.
You're not, right? Damage control right off the start. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing I attempted was pie crust. And I'll post the recipe I use a variation of, because I never actually use anybody's recipe. I just look at it and go, oh, I would change this and that and this and that.
Nice.
But it looks nice. So, but it was an almond pie crust. And I decided right away, okay, well, I don't want almond. I'm going to make it out of walnut. I'm going to cut it in half. I made half savory, and I added oregano and cracked pepper. And then I made the other half with cinnamon and sweetener. And I made them in little pie cups so that I could have them. And instead, my one pie made 24 little pie cups. And they work out to, I think, 0.4 of a gram of carb per cup. And then you can fill them with whatever you want. But that was the first thing I tried, and I was like, look at me. I baked something. I made pie crust. Woo, 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 woo. I got it. And you know what? Other than that coconut flour fail, nothing keto baking that I've tried has actually failed me yet. So I'm going to say if you don't normally bake, keto baking is different. And for you, it might be easier. For people who were expert bakers, they're the ones I hear struggle. They message me and they're like, Tori, I could seriously look at a loaf of bread and make it rise. What is with this keto baking? Why doesn't it work for me? And I'm like, oh, muffin. Oh, you know how I used to feel. Oh, it's just different. It's different ingredients. And I find it's more like cooking. Because with cooking, you can be like, oh, I'm going to throw a little of this, a little of that. I know the texture. I know the flavor. I find keto baking like that now. I'm like, oh, I'm going to use, this much nuts, throw an egg in there. Oh, yeah, go by texture, by feel. Oh, yeah, I want this flavor today. I feel like that flavor today. And I just throw in whatever. And when when I did my very first lives, I had this really weird idea that I wasn't actually going to make recipes. I was going to teach people how to be creative because Dory and impossible goals. So I said about this idea, and in the group I was in, I said, okay guys, give me 6 flavor ideas for cookies and I'm going to teach you how to create it. So you get on there and I'm like, okay, they gave me flavor ideas and I built them as we went. And I used to make all of my recipes like that. And as you're halfway through the live, people are like, recipe, recipe, recipe. I'm like, dude, we're creating it. I don't know yet. Maybe you should write it down while I'm making it. Because I don't have an hour to watch this after and write it all down. Be creative.
It's I would agree. Like fat bombs is a great example of that. Like I don't really do them anymore. Because I have my F bombs.
Yes.
But I used to when I first started, right? I was talking about that fat bomb life. And I think it's because I wasn't really fully weaned off of sugar. But that's another subject.
Let's go there when you're done this one, because I actually kind of really want to talk about how it changes. What you eat changes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I used to try to follow recipes for fat bombs, right? And then I moved into kind of like creating my own fat bombs based on like stuff, honestly, like stuff that I had in the fridge that was probably going to go bad, aka like heavy whipping cream or maybe like a couple berries or something, just stuff like that. And then it evolved from that to just like I could just do everything based on eyeing and feeling the texture.
Yes.
To know like if it needed more coconut oil or blah blah blah. And I'm that way now when baking with coconut flour. As difficult as it is, I think after you've gone through some of those trial and errors, they really resonate with you enough to where it kind of carries you forward into at least some type of like, I call it dumb competency, at least for myself, where I'm like, okay, I know what not to do, so I now know what this should feel like. And I know that if I'm adding like 3 more cups of water, I'm going to have a problem.
It's not going to be good. Well, my best example for that I think I could ever give is chia pudding. Now, I make this all of the time, and it's the easiest thing you could ever make. You just throw in your almond milk, your coconut milk, whatever, a couple tablespoons. In this one, I think it's got chia seed, flax, blonde flax, some ground flax, and some nut mix. But I've done several videos, and then people will message me and they'll say, mine is too thin. What did I do wrong? You didn't add enough chia. Mine is too thick. What did I do wrong? Well, you might have used coconut cream instead of coconut milk. How do I fix it? Just add more? Or heat this up like an oatmeal and it becomes runnier when you heat it up. And I'll eat it either cold and I can add color and flavor to it if I want. At Easter time, I did a really pretty rainbow one for kids where you just take your chia pudding and you add a flavor and a color, and then I layered it all pretty. Or you can warm it up like oatmeal and have it with butter and cinnamon and sweetener. But you learn by the texture. I could make it, and I could be using a different milk. I could be using a different kind of flax seed. I could be using any number of things. Once you make it good one time and you get the texture, then you understand. Because I got everything from Dory, mine is too watery, to mine is like paste. I couldn't eat it. I had to throw that away. So once you get a feel for it, you don't fail so much. And the failures they're expensive, but they're disheartening more than that.
Yeah.
Right? So I always tell people, before you throw it out, post it in the group. Because it might not be an actual fail. It might be something you can fix. Like if somebody posts and says, mine's like glue, I can't eat it, then that gives me a minute to comment and say, you know what, add an extra third of a cup of almond milk and you're good. Or if somebody says, you know, I made my, I don't know, what's a good example, something that failed. Oh, here's a perfect example. One of my ladies sent me a message, and she sent me a picture of a mug cake, and it was beautiful, but it took me about an hour to get back to her, and I commented, oh my God, that is so beautiful, and she sends me back, oh, I thought I did it wrong. I threw that out. I didn't even taste that.
What? No.
I'm like, what? No! Because it was a lava mug cake, and it was like all perfect, gooey on top. But hers didn't look exactly like mine because I use black and red cocoa and she used just regular Fry's cocoa. So hers looked like milk chocolate and mine looks like dark chocolate. So she was like, oh, it doesn't look right. I didn't do it right. She just threw it right in the garbage. And I'm like, and it was perfect. Like I could tell from the picture. It might have been bitter. That was my first lesson. My first mug cake I made, I was like, wow, why would anybody eat that? The first recipe I saw called for 4 tablespoons of cocoa. 4. I use less than half of that in my recipe now, but 4 tablespoons, and it called for a little bit of sweetener. And I'm going to say this too. I always tell everybody sweetener to taste. I will not give them an amount. I won't do it. Because your taste is different than my taste. You might want sweeter than me. If you don't want to eat it off the spoon, it's not sweet enough for you, add more sweetener. If I give you my amount and you don't like it, you're going to message me and say, that cake was really bitter, Dory. We can't be friends anymore. No, nobody threatens to not be my friend, but they do complain if things are bitter. Somebody messaged me once and they said, Dory, I made Keto Connect's chocolate bar recipe and I made it exactly the same. And I counted out all 20 of the stevia sweet drops and it was bitter. And I was like, well, dude, add as much as you want. Maybe they don't like what you like. Maybe I don't like what you like.
It's like the same thing with coffee, you know, like some people get 2 pumps, some people get 6 pumps. I follow this one guy that's a barista from Starbucks.
Yeah.
And he posted a picture yesterday on his Instagram of someone that got a grande latte, 16 pumps caramel. And
my goodness.
He's into fitness too, right?
Oh.
The birthday guy.
You die a little on the inside.
Yeah, right?
When somebody orders that.
This is 139 grams of sugar. He's like, this guy is going to be, if he's not diabetic, he's going to be diabetic. But, you know, not throwing shade to the sugar eaters.
Do you know what? I want to comment a little bit too, because last Sunday I just did a review of the sugar-free syrups. Now, at my McDonald's, they use the Tori syrup, which is a sucralose base. So depending where you are on the sweetener debate, some people yay, some people nay on that particular sweetener. But what I did discover was when you order, hi, I would like an extra large coffee with sugar-free syrup, that doesn't mean the 1 pump that I assumed, or 2 pumps. They put 4 or 5 pumps in an extra large, and there's 2 grams of carbs per pump, plus a gram of carbs per each creamer you get. So an extra large with 4 pumps rounds out at 10 grams of carbs. So if you're grabbing a coffee on your way to work, and you're grabbing a coffee on the way home, or you're grabbing one in the afternoon, that's 30 grams of carbs just in coffee, and you didn't eat anything today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Oh my God.
I think that is definitely something that I think a lot of people on keto pay more attention to now, is like how carbs are hiding in sugars, or sugars are hiding everywhere. You know, I remember, like, I felt difficult, but I felt really proud of myself too. Because about 6 months ago, we went to this restaurant. It was like a steakhouse, and I, for some reason, just wasn't feeling steak. Probably because we'd had a lot that week. And I was like, you know, hey, dude, can you just like help me pick something that's on this menu, you know, that doesn't have like a lot of sugar in it? And I ended up going with a Cobb salad. No surprise there. And so we get, after this whole debate, right? He brings the salad out. I take a bite of it, and it's a big ass salad. It's packing. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Right? And I take 1 bite of it, and I'm like, I'm I'm sorry. I think there's sugar in
Second.
this.
Yeah, you talk. I'm just going to figure out why my dog is doing that.
Oh, probably because he wants sugar. He's having sugar withdrawals. He wants sugar too.
She's chasing the cat. Because as soon as I go on live, my animals think, Mommy's not going to yell at me when she's on the shiny box. So they start doing all the stupid things. So right now, my dog has cornered the cat in my room and is barking at it under my dresser because get out of my room.
That's not yours.
Right? That's not yours. Get over here and come lay down. They do awesome things. My dog waits for me to go live and she'll get over here, climb up on the table and lick stuff off of it. My dog will my cat will climb up on the counters because he's like, oh, what are you going to do? One time I was on a live and I was like, don't mind me while I throw my pen at my cat. Get down from there.
Excuse me, everyone.
Well, I have a meltdown on my cat. Thanks, guys.
My pets do the same thing. They do this like, oh, hey, there's like excitement and energy. This is time for us to go from sleeping to like wrestling and doing the Macarena.
Well, yeah, because I could be really good all day, and as soon as Mommy turns on the camera, it's time to just be a royal absolute jerk. So on that note, let's each tell our best My Pets Are a Jerk story. And you get to go first while I wag my finger at my dog. Come here.
Okay. So, man, it's actually Buttons, Mr. Buttons. What's your worst moment? Oh, I think probably. You know, he's actually more like a dog than he is a cat. So, with that said, he doesn't really have a lot of like low moments.
Yeah.
But I think I have one. So when I first rescued him, because I got him from the Humane Society, he would meow in the mornings at like 3 a.m. like a traditional cat would, right?
Well, yeah.
And right, and I was like, oh god, this cat. And then he kind of had this like panicked meow for like a couple days in a row after he'd been at my house for a while. So I was like, I don't know what this panic meow is. It was just a different meow. And it was always in the mornings. And so I would always worry that like he hadn't eaten enough food. Maybe he was still hungry. Right?
He's starving himself.
I was just adjusting to having a cat that was like a hustler. And clearly he's not struggling to eat.
No.
He's well fed, very well nourished, 20 pounds of cat. And so anyway, come home from work this one day, and I moved into an automated feeder because it had like portion control, and you can't trust this cat.
Yes.
He would just eat, right? So, and he's like, mew, mew, mew. It was very much like I call it the lassie, because he was like, come quick, something's wrong. And so he was just so convincing, right? That I fed him again, thinking that like the auto feeder had malfunctioned. And then I found about, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours later, he had like pushed all of his kibble into the corner and was like saving it.
For later.
Like, the whole day. Yeah. That probably his lowest moment. But he does cute stuff. He does, like that. And he does high fives on command.
See, I love that. I don't think my cat does anything awesome to balance out. But I'm going to grab the water bowl and I'm going to tell you my cat is a jerk story. Because this one is my favorite. So this is the dog's water bowl. And the cat has his very own water bowl. But he really likes to drink out of the dog's water bowl. Now, he's figured out that if the bowl is empty and you step in it, it makes this sound. And it's really awesome. So one night at about, 5 o'clock in the morning, he's making the sound in the bowl. My guy gets out of bed, and I'm going to tell you this, actually, before we went to bed, we're on our way to bed, and the cat is dirty looking me at the dog's bowl. And I talk to him because I don't know why. I think it helps. And I look at him and I said, no, cat. That is not your bowl. You have water in your own bowl. The dog is gone to bed for the night. There'll be water in that bowl in the morning. And I went to bed because I felt like I explained it to him really good. And he sat there and he dirty looked me and he looked at the bowl. So 5 o'clock in the morning, he's making the clunking in the bowl sound. And my guy gets out of bed and his attitude is like, oh, it's so good you're up. I was just getting thirsty. My guy takes the bowl and he puts it up on top of, because he's mad, right? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not giving you water in the dog's bowl. And he comes back to bed. So I go to get up at 8 o'clock, which is 3 hours later. And the cat is sitting looking at the spot where the dog's bowl should be, just glowering at the spot. And I was like, dude, you are dedicated. You've got your own bowl.
Right. It's the same thing with the beds. I don't know if you have this problem, but
yes,
Mr. Buttons, he has 3 cat beds throughout the house, and they're like cushy, whatever. No, dude, he doesn't care about that. He wants whatever bed the dog is trying to sleep on.
Well, yeah. Does your dog try to sleep in the small cat bed? Because that happens at my house, where the cat is sleeping in the big giant dog bed, and the dog is trying to curl into the cat bed?
Yes. It's a thing.
This happens at my house.
I think it's a dog thing, too, because they're just like, I'm your best friend no matter what.
Right?
I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep everyone happy. Well, and the cat's like, fuck y'all, I'm taking this cush bed.
Right?
King.
I'm the boss. My cat tries to hog up half of my bed, and I'm like, dude, you better move. I'll try to roll over in the night, but I can't because he's in between my legs and refusing to move. And I'm like, oh, pardon? Did I disturb your sleep, sire?
How dare you?
How dare you
interrupt your cat's sleeping parameter?
Well, you know what? We had to stop giving him his pate, like his soft food, in the morning because he started deciding earlier and earlier what time it was for breakfast. So now he gets it at dinner time when everybody else eats, because I don't get up at 4:30 in the morning to feed the cat, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
My bowl's only half full. I might starve to death.
Yes. I don't get it. Yeah, I tried that too. I was like, he can eat at 6:30 or 7 a.m. and then the meowing would start incrementally just earlier and earlier. And I was like, you know what? 9 a.m. You did this to yourself.
Why do you have to ruin everything? I ask my dog that every time. I'm like, really? Why? Why do you have to ruin everything? We're trying to be nice here. We're trying to have fun. You bring her a toy, she chews it down to nothing, and she'll carry around like a rag of a piece of a toy and insist you've got to play. Like, she'll take the whole stuffed animal down to like literally there's a patch of fabric this big, and she'll cart it around like, want to play tug of war? No.
Yes.
No.
I don't want to touch that.
No. You slobbered on that. And she loves to steal my socks. So every time I turn around, she's got somebody's sock and a toy and something else hanging out of her mouth because she feels the need to, like, I don't know, carry everything around in her mouth. Cat toys, dog toys, socks.
Overachiever, multitasking dog. What a type A.
The nerve. So before we close out, because I know Instagram will like unceremoniously just boot us right out. They took away the 2-minute warning. Tell everybody where to find you if they're not following you already, and what you've got on the go coming up soon. Yeah. Shameless plug.
Oh yeah. So I am working with on several things right now, but I'm mostly on Instagram. I also just finally bought my own domain, like a professional, for travelingketocat.com. I know.
High five, sister. They're still working on my website, but I bought my domain. Domain sisters.
Yeah. I bought my domain. I need to switch it over from my other WordPress. But anyway, Instagram, Traveling Keto Cat, of course.
Yes.
And then Traveling Keto Cat WordPress, which is like my blog. That's just where, like, if people are trying to get started and they want to know or want to actually see the recipes that I've taken the time to, like, put together.
Okay.
I try to put them on there. I'm really not diligent as I should be because Instagram is mostly where I live. And then I have a Facebook page, which is mostly dedicated to deals and keto discounts.
Ooh, we like that, darling. We like that. You'll have to send me the link to that page so I can post it too in the... Because we're live on Facebook too right now. I don't know if I told you that or not.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. We're on Facebook, and I'm going to save this, and it'll go on YouTube, and I'll put a little preview on IGTV too. So we're all the places tonight, baby.
Yeah, man, you're all up in it. You're really good about that stuff. Good job.
I learned on my own from YouTube. I can't lie.
So I have a YouTube channel, and I started when I started keto. I was like, I'm gonna do, because I write food reviews too. Like I do a lot of Yelp Elite things and all that greatness, right? But I was so naive as to like how much time actually making a good video took. That I was just like, so like I think my YouTube channel currently has 2 videos, and to put that in comparison, like IGTV has been around like what, 3 weeks, and I think I have like 4 or 5 videos up on there
since I got home from KetoCon. And I'm gonna say this: I started making videos and I had no idea how to do it, so I just started doing it, and they gradually got better. And in the 7 months I've been doing it, I think I have like, I don't know, 300.
That's good, man.
Between question and answers and tips, because I've done everything from pedicure tips to hair tips to clothes buying to, doctor Q&As, a little of everything. I think I need to get separate YouTube channels and split my content. I don't know. I'm Dory, and I'm like, oh, look at all my stuff.
All the sparkly things.
Look at all the stuff.
That you just want to share with everyone.
Right? Like, I love all the things. So yeah,
it's a real problem, but it's a good problem to have. So
it is.
It really is. I think the last thing that I'm also working on is I've started working with Pop Sugar Fitness or Pop Sugar.
Ooh.
Just working on articles for them that they've accepted. So I have one that's published right now, and I'm working on another 2 that will be in the works very soon. Ooh. And I'm working on a city guide, Keto by City guide, and toying around with what it would look like to publish that so that people have like a yearly edition of Keto by City, like top keto restaurants where it's not just your typical burger or steak.
Nice. I absolutely love it. And I think we need to do this again sometime, because there's so many things that we touched on that we way need to talk about more. Like,
I know. I agree.
Yes.
Let's do it again.
Yes. I absolutely adore you, darling. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And as soon as we hop off and I get it on YouTube, I'll send you all the copies of everything, so you got them too.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks for having me, girlfriend.
Yes, I love you, girl. I can't wait to do it again. And welcome to my lighted kitchen.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, doll. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Okay, let's get us our dancing out song, because we can't not do that. And we may as well finish to what we started with, and that's Can't Hug Every Cat, because I do love it. There is a regular version, but we're listening to the songified version, because that one makes me giggle. And also it has rainbow cats that come out of it.
I'm nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. So I'm just gonna start talking about what I like.
What I like?
I love cats. I love every kind of cat. I just wanna hug all of them, but I can't get up every cat. Get up every cat.
Have a great night, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with Colorful Keto with Dory and Traveling Keto Cat Lady.